Alright guys, it's time for another long form video. Sorry about this one being late. But today, we're doing a simple thing, reacting to Zack D films. One of the biggest guys on YouTube. We're just going to be reacting to him, checking out some of his shorts, and see what it looks like. Let's get in. Finally, praise God for it. Today we're going to be just looking up at Zack D Films YouTube channel. One of the biggest channels across, well actually, the biggest one is Mr. Beast, but this is one of the biggest animation creators across YouTube. So let's go ahead. And we're going to go ahead and search him up. See what it looks like. See what he's got. I'm already subscribed to him. He has 27.9 million subscribers on YouTube. And we're going to go ahead and press this more button here. With 73 billion views. We just, the videos and stuff, I figured it out why I couldn't. We're going to go ahead and watch some shorts. There's that neck-head woman again. We'll just scroll down a little while. Just find something that's good, I guess. This is good, I guess.
The frog flexes its foot, which tears the tips of the toe bones out of place. Then its tendons pull it downwards until it rips through its skin. With a few kicks, it can slice straight through the predator's skin. And when the fight is over, the claws eventually fall back into place. After the skin heals over, the sharp claws are hidden again, at least until the next time they're needed. The frog,
nobody cares
if you
about
smack the cold bottle down, the water inside will suddenly freeze. Now this happens when you take pure water in a smooth bottle and put it in a freezer until it drops below freezing temperature. You see, the water needs something like a scratch in the plastic or a speck of dust in order to form ice crystals. And without these, the molecules will just stay in their liquid form. But as soon as you smack the bottle against the table, it moves the molecules around, which finally triggers them to form into crystals.
Okay, that's neat to know, I guess.
Jesus
commercial.
Right as you swing, the board suddenly becomes indestructible, meaning the nail bends. But if the nail was also indestructible, then the hammer would bounce right off. Now, imagine the hammer becomes indestructible too. The force of the swing would go into your arm. But what if your body became indestructible as well, and you swung the hammer down close to the speed of light? Well, instead of the nail going in, all that energy would be released, likely creating a blinding flash and a massive shockwave, vaporizing everything around it except the hammer, nail, board, and you. Right as you swing, the boards, if you saw off a cow's horn, you'll see a hollow space that runs all the way into the skull, where it splits into several sinus chambers. And because the horn is now open, bacteria can enter, infecting those chambers and filling them with waste. So a vet will drill a hole directly into the skull and flush large amounts of fluid through it, washing out the bacteria and waste inside.
Well, listen, no.
When he died on the cross, Jesus took all of our...
The tooth pushes out from the gum and never stops growing until it curls around like a hook, digging straight into the skull.
Yeah, I know that.
A rabbit chews on rough grass every day, and this wears its teeth down as fast as they grow. But when it eats less grass, the teeth slowly grow crooked. So the ones that touch stay short, while the others grow on, until the rabbit can't eat. So a vet has to file them down before they grow long again. The tooth pushes out. If you try to draw a giant circle like this, it will always be imperfect. Instead, stand so your shoulder lines up with the center. Then extend your arm fully and touch the chalk to the side of where the circle will be, keeping your elbow straight and your wrist steady. Now sweep your arm around that center point, letting your shoulder act as the pin and your arm as the radius. The steadier your shoulder stays, the closer you get to a perfect circle, leaving the entire class in disbelief.
Yeah, but the disbelief.
She placed out her hand and the bumblebee crawled inside.
Nope, I'm stopping that right there. I ain't doing the junk. I ain't doing junk like that.
Small enclosure for the bee, and that's when she noticed the bee's wing had been damaged, meaning it would never fly again.
I finally made it kill it.
When she looked in, Beatrix was still moving. The bee started climbing
She
all
named it?
around the woman,
Bro.
as if it trusted her. Beatrix would run around the house. Then, when the woman sat down, she would climb onto her hand and stay there while she watched movies. And for
Of course,
12
Zack D
days,
filmed.
the two became friends. When Beatrix eventually died, it was in the hands of the woman who saved her. She
I would
placed
just
out
kill
her
that
hand
thing on the
and
ground.
bumblebee crawled inside. She took it home.
Please.
An octopus wraps its arms around your bumper. Then a second octopus grabs onto the first one, while wrapping its other arms tightly around a metal pole behind it. Now each arm is covered in hundreds of suckers that form tight seals against surfaces. And one large sucker alone can pull with around 10 pounds of force. So when the driver hits the gas, the suckers work together to hold on to the car. Meaning the car isn't fighting one point of contact, it's pulling against hundreds of suckers at once, all spreading the force across the octopus's arms. And if enough of those suckers keep their seal, their combined grip could beat the traction on the tires, stopping the car. An octopus wraps
powerful.
its arms around your...
This is how you...
Cut two boards at 45-degree angles and glue them together. Once it sets, cut two thin slots across the outside of the corner. Now glue thin wooden strips into those slots so they bridge across both sides of the joint. Once the glue dries, trim the strips flat and sand everything smooth, leaving thin wooden strips across the corner, making it much harder to break apart.
Okay, that's not
Cut two,
good information.
place the dollar underneath a bottle like this. Now challenge
that's the
someone
OG game.
to pull the bill out without tipping the bottle, which they'll obviously fail to do. To actually win, start rolling the edge of the bill inward, feeding it under the bottle. This will nudge it slightly instead of it being yanked, and the bottle moves forward in small controlled steps until you become a legend.
Yeah.
Pinch the bone at the end and twist it back and forth. You see, the bone is wrapped in meat and connected by soft cartilage at the joint.
No, nobody's gonna be done
sprayed the
debuting one of those
penguins,
themselves.
and as it soaked through their feathers, it allowed the cold to seep in. As the penguins tried to clean themselves, they swallowed some of the oil, which eventually killed them. So volunteers started knitting tiny sweaters, which kept them warm while they waited to be washed. It also stopped them from cleaning themselves and even soaked up some of that oil, meaning most of them were saved thanks to the tiny sweaters. The oil
I guess that's a good thing.
Keep your hands close together. Then rest your index and middle fingers along the top. Now extend your thumb and squeeze, creating gaps between the cards. As you increase the pressure, they slip from your thumb one at a time, shooting into your other hand, which you'll need to curl into a claw, with your pinky blocking the bottom edge. Then keep the squeeze slow and steady, and with enough practice, you can work your way up to a full deck. Keep your hands close. Fold a strip of paper into a square tube before making 3 more. Now make thinner strips for the claws, cut them into long pointed blades, and slide each one between the tubes. Then connect the back ends, so all 3 claws move together. Now connect the tubes together and add a small wall at the front, so the claws can slide out completely. And attach rubber bands from the front to the back strip. So when you pull the claws back, the bands stretch and store energy. Then add a small paper lock and attach it to a ring so you can pull it with your finger. And once you release it, the bands snap the claws forward. Fold a strip of paper into a square tube before
Good Halloween
making
trick, I guess.
Another night.
He gave him the handbook, but the cover had a key that matched the actual master key for the prison. So one man used his jewelry making tools to craft a perfect copy, and he passed it to someone who could reach the lock, but it didn't fit. So he passed it back to be filed down, and they repeated this process until the key finally turned. Then they ran out and climbed over 3 fences to freedom, but they were both caught days later, and after changing the locks, the prison took away the handbook for good. He gave him the ships enter a concrete chamber below before steel gates close
Yeah,
at
let's keep
both
going.
I was today years old when
He
Keep going straight
slipped
down.
off a 10th floor windowsill and was left hanging from the ledge as people screamed below. 2 nurses saw him from the street, and one ripped off her coat to catch him. But a man rushed over, knowing one person couldn't hold it tight enough. So they stretched the coat between them like a net. Then the toddler lost his grip. He slammed into the coat so hard it tore the lining before dropping into the snow underneath. But somehow he survived. He slipped off
It would be
the 10th
horrible
floor windowsill and
if there was
left
no
hanging
snow there.
from the ledge as people
They had no other
screamed
choice. If he
below.
would have fell
2
through anyway,
nurses
like it
saw
was in
him
winter
from
time
the
or something like
street,
that,
and
that would
one
have been
ripped off
horrible.
her coat to when someone gambles and wins, their brain releases a chemical that feels really good.
Dopamine.
The same one that fires when eating candy. But the
Dopamine.
brain releases even more when a win feels uncertain because it's trying to guess when the next one might hit. The
Yeah.
problem is, there's no real pattern to find. And a loss that feels close to a win still gives the brain a rush. Each
Yep.
near miss makes it feel like the win was right there. And one more try could be the one, making it really hard to walk away.
Yeah, that's
When
right.
someone gambled, he was abandoned by his mother as
All
a
right.
baby. So he was
We can
given
do
a
something else.
stuffed orang-
We're going to go to popular. We'll start here.
Have you
I
ever
guess.
noticed how odd the McFlurry spoon is? Well, some people think it's supposed to work like a straw, but you only have to try that once to realize it does
Okay.
not work. The true reason for these weird spoons is actually pretty genius.
They don't even have
You
those
see,
anymore, actually.
McDonald's didn't want to clean their beaters after every McFlurry, so instead, they designed a spoon that would also work as the mixer. Have you ever noticed how
They don't even
odd
have
the
those
If
anymore,
you
actually.
shot a bullet at ancient armor, if you somehow removed all of the blood vessels in your body and tied them together, you might think it would be about this long. But the human body has thousands of these tiny vessels that weave in and out of every body part. And with all of them combined, if you started in New York, your blood vessels would make it all the way to the Grand Canyon. It would go on to reach all the way across the Pacific Ocean, over Japan, Asia, and all of Europe. And not only would it make it all the way back to your starting point, but it would be able to make this trip 2 to 4 times over.
I don't believe that,
If you
guy. I don't believe that
somehow
one bit.
When a doctor gives you a shot, they can sometimes accidentally push the needle all the way through your vein, which ends up puncturing both sides. Once the needle is removed, it leaves 2 holes in the vein. And before the body can thicken the blood and seal these holes, it bleeds into the surrounding tissues. This leaked blood forms a dark, tender area under the skin, creating bruises and splotchy areas.
Yep.
When a If everyone on Earth clipped their toenails and threw them into the ocean, you might think they'd float and blanket a huge area.
Oh,
but toenails don't actually float, so they would pile up at the bottom of the ocean. As over 82 billion clippings rain down, it would choke fish and smother the seafloor until a massive pile broke through the surface. And after this global clipping, you would have a walkable toenail island, 10 times bigger than Central Park.
Yeah, that's.
Everyone on Earth clipped their
Who in the.
toenails
What
and threw
in the
them
world he
into
got.
the
How,
ocean.
what's the comments
You
on
might
this crazy?
think they'd float and blanket a huge area.
You might think, no,
but
Jack, just
toenails
you.
don't actually float.
Where do you
they
live? I
would
live between.
pile up at the bottom of the ocean.
How does he think of
as
this
over
stuff?
82 billion. When a firing squad shoots a prisoner, one of
Have you ever wondered how this trick is done? It's one of those things where you know he can't actually be making.
I've
If
seen
you
that one
lose
before.
one of your adult teeth, the bone where the tooth once was can start to deteriorate.
America's Funniest Home Video.
They opened the pallet of ammunition only to find it was full of Tootsie Rolls. You see, Tootsie Roll was a code name for mortar rounds, which the
Okay.
Marines desperately needed. But the radio operator who received the order didn't know that and sent the actual candy instead. At first, the Marines were angry, but the sub-freezing temperatures had frozen all their food, and the candies ended up sustaining them over the next few days. They even used them to plug bullet holes by warming them up and letting them freeze in place. And eventually, the real mortar rounds did arrive. They opened the pallet of ammunition only to find it
Okay,
was
that's a little
full
odd
of-
video.
If you accidentally touched a table saw, you'd probably think your fingers would be cut off. But this isn't always the case. You see, some modern high-end saws actually know the difference between wood and your skin. Once your finger comes in contact with these special saws, it immediately detects the electrical conductivity from your skin. This triggers an immediate mechanical response that stops the blade
that's pretty
in less
neat.
than 5 milliseconds. If you
5
accidentally
milliseconds, though, you
touched
can
a
still get
table
cut, probably.
saw, you'd probably think your
That's wild. Okay,
Fingers
we're gonna go ahead and call it quits right there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't much, but hope you guys enjoyed it either way. And see you guys next time. Probably be my testimony video. It's been requested by a lot, so look out for it. Till then, peace out, everybody.